Okay, we have another create your own video, but this time I asked everyone in the Discord server to make a banner for My Hero Ultra Impact. So today we're going to be looking at the banners that people made. This would include a UR character, a UR memory, and an SR memory. So with that said, we got 12 of these to go over. It's going to take a bit to get through all of them, but at the end of the video, go down to the comments and let us know which banner you like the best. So first up, we have Infinite 2.0, who made Big Three's Assault, Coordinate, Fight, Plasma, Recruit banner, featuring a dual unit, Tamaki Amajiki and Najire Hato as a blue or ABL type UR. We have the memory Get Wrecked and the SR memory Until He Disappears. So starting with the new character, Tamaki Amajiki and Najire Hato. The plus ultra move is called Vast Hybrid Plasma Cannon, deals 700% damage to a single opponent. This skill gains Piercing Shot, medium chance of blinding the opponent for 3 turns, gives character the ability to penetrate for 3 turns, also extends opponent's action skill cooldown time by 2. You're cooking with that. That's absolutely insane. Action skill 1, Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken, deals 350% damage to all opponents, love AoEs, it increases character's power and defense by 25% for 4 turns. You're absolutely cooking. Medium chance of binding all opponents for 2 turns. That's crazy. Even Compress only has a low chance. That's nuts. If character health is below 50%, character gains the ability to counter and nullify normal attacks for 2 turns. You're making the most overpowered unit ever. Like, that's absolutely insane. 5-turn cooldown though, balances it out a little bit. Action skill 2, Scorpius Toxin, deals 400% damage to a single opponent, medium chance of making the opponent bleed for 4 turns, gives them 10 toxin 1 time. If the opponent is bleeding, gives them 15 toxin 1 time. Also decreases the opponent's max HP by 30% for 3 turns with a cooldown time of 3. And then we have auto skill 1, Octopus Mirage. Character hides for 2 turns. Every 3 turns, character gains camouflage for 2 turns while hiding if character's HP is above 50%. And then for every turn that the character is hiding, gives all opponents 15% or 15 toxin. For every turn that the character is camouflaging, gives all opponents 10 toxin. If the opponent has reached 50 toxin or more, cancels all of their recovery buffs and blocks the recovery for 2 turns. That's your absolute dude. This starting off strong with an insane kit. Auto skill 2, Thank You Everyone. For every hero character that is on the team, increases character skill impact, max HP, and speed by 20%. For every hit that character does not receive, increases character skill impact by 5% and critical hit resist by 10%, which is stackable. When character uses their plus ultra move, character gains cover for 1 turn and restores all allies damage taken by 30% for 3 turns. So you have the ability to hide, camouflage, the ability to cover, the ability to heal, the ability to bleed, and the ability to inflict toxin, which is like a poison. And we also have AoEs, and what else do we have? We have Penetrate, we have a Bind, like a really high chance to bind. We can blind them as well. We have everything. This is insane. Toxin, by the way, it's like Frost. For every 5 toxin, decreases the opponent's max HP and speed. Speed is crazy. By 7%, decreases max HP and speed by 10% if they're bleeding. That's absolutely nuts. And then of course you got the dual unit of the Season 7 Najire and Amajiki together. Makes a lot of sense. This character actually looks freaking broken. I you know, there was a time when I said no way the devs will put in something this broken, but like lately they've kind of been pushing the limits, so maybe they would do something like this. I'd love to see more dual units come to the game for My Hero. It's definitely something we could see in the future of the game, like with year 4. I do think it's a possibility. And then the UR memory is Get Wrecked. I love the name, Get Wrecked. Gives character the ability to penetrate for 3 turns, up to 3 times when character gains the ability to counter. If character's HP is above 50%, gives character the ability to nullify 3 status elements for 2 turns. So there's the nullify status elements, the one thing you're missing up above. Every 3 turns, up to 3 times, increases bleeding damage to the opponent, and restores character's HP by 20% when character is hiding. Absolutely broken character. The one thing I do notice is that you don't like have any speed boost for yourself. So I mean, if they kill your character early, then that's like the easiest way to counter this character. Other than that, your character seems very insane. And then the SR memory, Until He Disappears, increases character skill impact and action skill impact by 25% if equipped by a hero, increases character's critical hit rate and max HP by 30% if equipped by a villain, restores character's HP by 15% for 5 turns up to 2 times. That might be a little bit better
than an SR memory. Like, I don't think it's UR, it's like in between. Yeah, sure, I'll give it to you as an SR memory. All of your stuff seems like it would be broken, but it actually seems kind of balanced at the same time. I don't know how I feel about it, but really, really good start. Loved it. All right, next up we have Kirishima. Sorry, Kirishima. I was bound to mess that one up. Little Red Riot Hood, Izuku Kirishima. The Plus Ultra is called a Bag of Treats. So I assume this is like a Halloween version, potentially. Do we have a picture? Okay, we do have a picture. Okay, so that's what we're basing it on. Deals 500% damage to all opponents, increases character's defense by 50%, covers all allies for 4 turns of a 4-turn draw aggro, and gives character 3 barriers, increases all allies' defense by 25% for 3 turns. I actually like the fact that you're giving defense here and you're also going to give barriers, because that kind of covers both of your bases. Like if they, now the one thing it doesn't really help you with is like, piercing shot, because piercing shot will still go through defense and it's still goes through barriers. I might switch out the barriers for evasion. I would go for like increases character's defense by 50% and gives evasion 3 times or something like that. I think that would be a little bit better. Just my personal opinion. And then increasing all allies defense by 25% though, I really like that because there are a lot of AoE attacks in the game. So a character that is a tank that can actually help allies like that is really good. Action skill 1, Spooky Counter. Gives character counter for 4 turns, increases all allies defense by 20% for 3 turns, gives self and all allies 1 last stand, increases character's max HP by 30% with a cooldown time of 3. Fairly good. Action skill 2, Picnic Basket. Applies 30% HP regeneration to all allies, gives all allies 1 last stand, applies treat to self and all allies for 3 turns. Treat, what does that do? It increases max HP by 10% for each turn they have it, increases all allies defense by 20% for 3 turns. So I like that he's not only a tank, but like a support character as well, that gives more survivability to your allies. That's actually kind of what we need in the game right now to help keep some of these other characters, like for example, Steampunk Aizawa, alive, so they can actually just pop off and do the things they need to do. Auto skill 1, Big Bad Wolf. When character is in counter, gives character a permanent last stand until a ally is under 20% HP. When character is in counter, increases character's plus ultra gauge by 25%, increases character's defense by 75% when under 20% HP. 75% defense increase is insane. Once again, doesn't mean anything against piercing shot though. That's the biggest problem with defense nowadays, is that piercing shot exists and there's so many characters that have piercing shot. Auto skill 2, Jump Scare. When character hits someone with a counter, increases character's normal skill impact by 5% each time he hits it. When character is in counter, gives all allies double attack. Also, you should probably mention that you probably want this to be stackable, so it just stacks like infinitely, because then that eventually stacks up your normal attacks and makes it way better, and that would be really, really insane. So that's a pretty interesting character. Little Red Riot Hood. Izuku Kirishima, I love the pun on it. And then we have the new UR. Was that just a character? I guess it was just a character. Okay, I was expecting like a full banner. Okay, that's fine. Next up, we have Rat with a character called the Messiah Niko. So the plus ultra pank is called Pancakes. Do we have a picture? Okay, yeah, there's the picture. Even put it on the My Hero art with the UR. Okay, so the plus ultra is called Pancakes, deals 450% damage to a single opponent, recovers all allies HP by 30% for 3 turns, hides character for 4 turns, increases max HP of all allies by 35% for 4 turns, increases all allies speed by 10% for 3 turns, gives all allies the ability to evade 1 time, lowers character's action skill cooldown time by 1. You think you did enough of this plus ultra? Jeez, man, the plus ultra is crazy. I imagine the action skills are not as crazy. Action skill 1, Help from the Messiah, increases a single ally's max HP by 40% for 2 turns, increases a single ally's plus ultra gauge by 25%, gives character tranquility for 3 turns, meaning they can't be hit by crits, helping their survivability. That's actually pretty decent. Cooldown time of 4 turns. Action skill 2, Light from the Sun, blinds all opponents for 4 turns, lowers critical hit rate of all opponents for 3 turns, lowers action skill impact of all opponents by 15% for 3 turns. How much are we lowering crit rate there, by the way? I'm curious. And then decreases power of all opponents by 10% for 3 turns. Seems like a massive debuff for enemies. That in and of itself is kind of broken and would be really, really powerful. And then auto skill 1, the World Machine, when plus ultra is used, lowers action skill cooldown time by 2 for allies under 50% HP. Ooh, interesting, having a HP requirement for lowering cooldowns. That's very interesting, but that means now your plus ultra gives an extra effect potentially. I like it. Auto skill 2, one shot to save the world when Niko is below 25% HP. When she uses her plus ultra, increases all allies critical hit rate by 75% for 3 turns, increases all allies critical skill impact by 60% for 3 turns, increases all allies power by 60% for 3 turns, and this auto skill can only be activated once per battle. Fair, because that's kind of OP as crap. And then we have the new UR memory. Ooh, I like the memory. My burden is light. When equipped by a mind type character, increases character speed by 15%, increases character's plus ultra gauge by 10% at the start of battle, gives character the ability to evade 2 times at the start of battle, and increases character's max HP by 20% for 3 turns at the start of battle. And then we have, of course, the arts for the memory. I like that you did like the regular art and then you went and did this art as well to show the memory art. Very, very cool that you went and actually edited this stuff together. Love that. And then we have the new SR memory, Mother's Pancakes, increases character speed by 15% for 2 turns when battle starts, regenerates character's HP by 25% for 3 turns when battle starts as well. Really, really love the art. I think I like the art almost more than the kits. Like the kits are good, but I love the art. The fact that you went and actually like edited like the images and put them in, like you put it in as a gacha pull and everything. So obviously guys, if you're new to the channel or you haven't seen these videos before, we are making kits based on the game My Hero Ultra Impact, but not every character is obviously from the My Hero series, which is perfectly okay. Have had people submit Dokkan, you know, Dragon Ball type stuff, JJK, just random, you know, stuff like this. Anything really goes. Just it needs to be My Hero themed when you build the kit, and this is really, really cool to see. Oh, and then the crossover. I would love to see more gacha games do crossovers like 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross does. Unfortunately, we don't see a lot of it, but maybe someday we will. That'd be very, very sick. Next up, we have Shadow, True Ultra Instinct. Let's this party start 1A recruit. Let this party start 1A recruit is I think what we meant to say there. And so that is the banner. The character, student and teacher, Izuku Midoriya. Does that mean with all might? Yes, yes. This one from the movie. Love it. Love it. Can't wait to read this. Plus Ultra did double Detroit Smash, deals 700% damage to a single opponent if Gauntlet Charge is at 100. Ooh, we have a charging thing. Increases critical damage and critical hit rate by 40% if Gauntlet Charge is at 50 to 75%. Increases critical rate and damage by 20% and low chance 25% of giving the opponent bleed for 5 turns, period. Very interesting. Action skill 1, 30% Detroit Smash, deals 400% damage to all opponents, increases defense by 20%, and nullifies status elements for 4 turns. It is a 6-turn cooldown. That balances it out, but nullifying status elements for 4 turns is absolutely freaking nutty. Giving defense and an AoE all in one skill, that's nuts. Action skill 2, 5% Barrage, deals 450% damage to a single opponent, increases power by 10%, which is stackable up to 50, interesting, and low chance 20% to stun the opponent for 2 turns with a cooldown time of 5 turns. The cooldowns kind of balance out everything that you're doing here. Auto skill 1, Go Beyond plus Ultra, increases Gauntlet Charge by 25 every 1 turn and increases speed by 20% when stack gets to 75 and moves up to 30% when Gauntlet stack goes to 100. Auto skill 2, increases plus Ultra Gauge for all allies by 30% and gains permanent defense up and gains Steel, remove buffs, immunity. I'm wondering how much, defense up we're getting there. That'd be interesting to know. And also, I don't really see what the Gauntlet effect does besides just like giving you the additional buffs, but does it do anything else? I'm interested to know more about how the Gauntlet works. I guess we'll find out down below if it says. For the new UR memory, Shut Up, this is what heroes do. Increases critical hit rate by 40% and increases defense and power by 30% for all strength type characters. And then the SR memory, He's My Successor for a Reason, increases power of all heroes by 40% and increases bind resist by 20%. I really like it. I feel like we needed a little bit more explanation on the Gauntlet, but I love the theme that you decided to go with here for your banner. I would love to see that type of theme actually in the game implemented. That'd be amazing. Next up, we have San Rafi. San Rafi has a Momo Yaoyorozu. Now, do we have a full banner or is it just, okay, it looks like a full banner. So we do have a full banner for San Rafi. Let's see, a very interesting art as well. What is this, a PNG? What is, oh, okay, there's a picture of the Yaoyorozu. Okay, looks very interesting. So Yule Gifts Momo Yaoyorozu. Maybe that's what we'll get this year. I think San Rafi's trying to predict This year's 2024 Christmas character, potentially. Plus Ultra is Special Santa Delivery Cannons. Deals 700% damage to a single opponent and deals 300% damage to other opponents. Love that. AoE plus Ultra that does like, you know, your main damage and then the, I guess, collateral damage. Increases all allies' power and defense by 40% for 3 turns. Increases all ecstatic ally status ailment resistance by 25% for 3 turns and gives all allies the ability to nullify 3 status ailment debuffs. So basically, if your allies are ecstatic, you'll increase their status ailment resistance, and then you give all allies the ability to nullify 3 status ailments / debuffs as well. Very interesting plus Ultra, good support. And then the action skill 1, Bag Full of Surprise, increases all allies max HP by 20% for 3 turns, makes all allies ecstatic for 3 turns, can't be blocked or nullified, and increases their defense by 30%. So you're giving them plus Ultra Gauge and giving them defense and extra HP, and then decrease all allies debuffs by 10% as well. Yeah, it's a little bit crazy. You can't say all debuffs though, because some debuffs don't have percentages, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Action skill 2, oh, I can't even say it. How did you spell that? Matryoshka. Yeah, sure, we're going with that. Stuffed of Joy. Deals 300% damage to all opponents and decreases their status ailment hit rate by 20% for 3 turns. So AoE, love it. Increases all allies' power by 30% for 3 turns. It gives all allies the ability to overwhelm for 3 turns. Jeez, just insane buffs. Decreases all allies' temporary debuffs by 20%, and it's a multi-hit attack. Absolutely crazy. Auto skill 1, Tactics to Save the Magic Knight. Once per turn, nullifies 2 of all status ailments, reduces all allies' damage taken by 30% when character is ecstatic, gives all allies the ability to make a last stand for 3 turns when their HP is below 20%, once per ally. Auto skill 2, Just a Girl Enjoying Sharing, reduces all allies' cooldown time by 1 when character passes 3 turns being ecstatic, increases all allies' stats by 10% depending on the character's temporary buffs, character stats by 5% depending on allies' temporary buffs. You're just doing, you're doing a little bit too much. Honestly, absolutely insane. I would love to have this, a good Christmas support character for once that's actually useful. Yes, please. I would love to see that. And then the new UR memory that you have designed. I actually love what you picked here for the art. Gang Planning the Special Delivery. Increases all ecstatic allies' speed by 25%. Gives all allies the ability to evade twice every 3 turns. That's crazy. You should maybe limit that to like evade twice every 3 turns up to 3 times in battle or something. Limit it a little bit. And then increases all allies who can overwhelm skill impact by 25%. So if you have overwhelm, you get an additional 25% skill impact, which that just seems like a little bit of overkill to me, but like, yo, why is this not a memory? That actually should be a memory. That should be a special Christmas memory right here. Devs, if anyone ever sees this, like, this is, I love that art. You don't have to necessarily use the effect. If you did, it would be sick, but like the art is really, really cool. And then the SR memory, Snowy Trail of Happiness, increases all allies' power, defense, and speed by 20%, cancels 2 of characters' status ailments every 3 turns, increases all ecstatic allies' max HP by 10%. So kind of like a lesser version of the other memory, like a little bit different, but it's still going to be useful on this particular character that you've designed. And then I love the little Mineta in the picture. That's so funny. That's really unique art you've chosen for this. I love the art. Okay, next up we have Mia, the Ultimate Spookster. Banner name Bakano Super Night Festival. I apologize if I butchered the way you say that. Oh wait, you actually put the pronunciations. I don't know what the asterisk means though. How does that mean you pronounce it like an A? Bakano? No, it's got to be an E. Bakano. That has to be how it's said. Anyways, moving on. The character, Cheerful Knight Mayuku Koto. Plus Ultra move, Super Cat Pulse Wave. Deals 500% damage to all opponents. Decreases the critical resist of all allies by 30% for 4 turns, and gives character the ability to make a last stand 5 times, jeez. Okay, medium chance of burning the opponents for 3 turns, and low chance of burning the opponent in Hellfire. Also decreases action skill cooldown time of all allies by 1, which is, love to see that on any character. That's really, really good. So AoEs, last stands, decrease action skill cooldown time. That's really good. Action skill 1, Pulsar Launch, deals 350% damage to a single opponent with a high chance of burning the opponent in Hellfire. Gives opponent fatigue for 2 turns, meaning they won't be able to get their own plus ultras, which is absolutely crazy. This effect cannot be nullified or cancelled with a cooldown time of 4, which is solid. Action skill 2, Concentrated Pulse, Wide Sweep, deals 400% damage to all opponents, so there's an AoE, with a medium chance of stunning the opponents for 2 turns. This skill gains 50% skill impact if the opponent is a destruction type character. Love the medium chance to stun, by the way. If you land a crit, it becomes a high chance to stun. When used in a 3rd successfully executed skill chain, increases max HP of all allies by 15%, up to 2 times, and gives this skill Bullseye. So not only do you have a stun, you also have Bullseye. That's diabolical. That's absolutely crazy. That's like what Celebration Ochako needed. Auto skill 1. Spirit of the Holiday gives character the ability to cover for 3 turns when battle starts. When character is covering allies, gives all allies excluding character penetrate and gives them the ability to make a last stand 3 times. When character is not covering allies, increases power of all allies by 25%. Interesting that you give cover. I don't feel like we have a lot of defense here for this character, so that's very, very interesting. Auto skill 2, Festival and Wrapped in Peace, increases character speed and defense by 50% when battle starts. Okay, there's your defense. Is it just permanent? That's crazy if that's permanent. If there are any UA high class 1A characters on the team, increases character speed by another 40%. That's a 90% speed increase. That's crazy. Whenever an ally falls below 50% health, gives the character the ability to cover for 2 turns and regenerates HP of all allies by 25% for 3 turns. Yeah, so I think that's just a permanent 50% defense buff. That's actually insane. And then of course we have the art. I think this is hand-drawn art. Honestly, looks really, really sick. I like the little critter in the background. That's very, 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 very cool. Love seeing this stuff. So that's the unawakened art and the awakened art. Okay, let's see what the memory is. Oh, it's so cute. Sincerely on this day, increases plus ultra gauge of all allies by 10% when skills are used in a successfully executed skill chain. Increases character's plus ultra effect by 20% every 2 turns, stackable up to 3 times, and then also makes character agile when covering allies. That's big. That would be really good on this character, making them agile so not all the hits hit them. That would be really, really good. And then the SR move, SR memory, I Will Wait For You, gives all allies the ability to nullify 1 status element when battle starts. Also increases character skill impact by 40% when equipped by a UA high class 1A character. And I feel like we took a dark turn here with this SR memory, but I love the art once again. Like it was so happy and cheerful with all of these ones, and then we just go like, now you're in a hospital dying. Crazy like what a switch. All the art though, love it. Very interesting kit. Next up, we have Zoff, the MHUI / F1 guy. Yeah, this one's gonna be interesting. I saw this one when it was posted when I was kind of scrolling through. I didn't really read any of these before because I like to react to them live with you guys. But as I was just scrolling, I saw the art and I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, so a blast from the past, and I might mess up names. I apologize. Benetton's Michael Schumacher recruit banner. So future characters, talent from the start, Michael Schumacher, Maker, however you say it. Future memories, the day a legend died, the SR stuck in 5th gear, and then the character talent from the start, Michael Schumacher. Let's read it. Plus ultra, 2-time champion, deals 650% damage to 2 opponents and restores character's HP by 25%. Also decreases the opponent's skill impact by 25% for 3 turns. If there was an opponent not damaged by this attack, stuns the opponent for 1 turn and decreases their skill impact by 35% for 3 turns. Very interesting. Action skill 1. A maiden win at Spa, cooldown time of 4 turns, deals 400% damage to 1 opponent and increases character's plus ultra gauge by 30%. Also makes character ecstatic for 2 turns. If the opponent is a blue type character, the skill gains piercing shots. I feel like you kind of nerfed your own character whenever you like make them specifically good against one type. So like I don't think this is the most overpowered character, but I could definitely see them making a kit like this just in general for a character that's not going to be too overpowered in the game. Action skill 2, Benetton's best. 5-turn cooldown, increases character skill impact and speed by 35% for 3 turns. Also decreases the critical skill impact of all opponents by 35% for 4 turns. Medium chance 40% to block all opponents' buffs for 2 turns. Auto skill 1 disqualified twice if character is affected by a negative status element. Increases the length of time that the effect is active by 1 turn up to 10 times. That just that's diabolical. Auto skill 2, a bright future ahead, increases character speed by 5% for 6 turns and restores character's HP by 6% each turn up to 17 times. 17 times, what a specific number. This skill is paused when character is stunned. So you got the unawakened dart and then the awakened dart on the right hand side. And then for the new UR memory, the day a legend died increases character's critical resistance by 40% and gives this character an immunity to speed down. If there are any blue characters on the team, gives all allies the ability to make a last stand 2 times when character has this memory attached to a stun up to 1 time. That part didn't make a lot of sense, but very interesting kits you've coming up with. Okay, SR memory, stuck in 5th gear, increases character speed by 7% each turn up to 7 times. This buff cannot be cancelled or blocked. Also gives this character an immunity to speed up and speed down. That sucks. If this memory is attached to a green character, also gives the character an immunity to recovery block, so they can't be blocked. Their recovery can't be blocked. That's interesting. I like that idea. That's a very cool idea. And then a brief bit of context, 2-time champion Schumacher won both. I love that we get the fun facts here at the end. Won both the 1994 and 1995 World Driver Championship with Benetton. A maiden win at the Spa 1992 Belgian Grand Prix. Disqualified twice. Schumacher was disqualified from 2 races during the 1994 season. British and Belgian Grand Prixes. The day a legend died, 1994 San Marino Grand Prix. 3-time F1 World Driver Championship winner Ayrton Senna died in an accident that race. Oh, crazy. And then stuck in 5th gear, 1994 Spanish Grand Prix. Michael Schumacher's car was stuck in 5th gear for most of the race. I love the fun facts there at the end. I got to learn something today, so hopefully you guys at least enjoyed that part. That was really cool. I enjoyed that. Next up, we have Duckage with Destiny's Duel Izuku Midoriya. I want to see what he looks like. Okay, so it looks like basically Gear Shift Deku, if I'm understanding it right. So the plus ultra move is called Gear Shift Overdrive, deals 550% damage to a single opponent, deals 250% damage to all other opponents, collateral damage. If character isn't in the overdrive state, they enter it for 3 turns on their plus ultra. While in the overdrive state, characters' cooldowns are reduced to 0 and they gain the ability to use 2 normal attacks. This is what overdrive should have been for overdrive Deku. This attack gains plus 50% critical hit rate, piercing shot, and scores a bullseye if character has persistence. Ooh. That's crazy. Yeah, this is already looking better than the Overdrive Deku we got in the game. That Overdrive Deku was such a letdown, honestly. Action Skill 1, Reality Bending Fist. Deals 450% damage to a single opponent. Decreases opponent's plus ultra gauge by 30%. Decreases opponent's defense by 30%. And speed by 30% for 3 turns. That's a lot of debuffs to the opponent. That's really good. Cooldown time of 4. Overdrive State, so an additional effect. Defense down and speed down effects cannot be cancelled. Ooh, that's good. So they can't cleanse them. That's really good. Action Skill 2, Quintuple Detroit Smash. Deals 100% damage 5 times to a single opponent. Medium chance 45% to stun the opponent for 2 turns. I assume that's on each hit, right? So maybe make it a low chance, and then each hit you have a low chance to stun them. So that's 5 chances to hit them. And you stun them for 2 turns. That would be insane. This attack scores a bullseye if character has persistence as well. Love that. Also, if you're in the overdrive state, gains piercing shot and has a plus 40% critical hit rate. Insane. Absolutely insane. Auto skill 1, I won't let you hurt anyone else. Increases character speed by 65% when in the overdrive state. Is he going to be an overdrive from the start of battle? Like, that's good, but like the start of battle is really when you need the speed. Character cannot gain plus ultra gauge while in the overdrive state. At the beginning of battle, increases character's plus ultra gauge by 100%. Okay, so we can use a plus ultra right off the rip. Interesting. Character gains 1 stack of determination, which cannot be cancelled or nullified. This character cannot gain last stands. When character has no stacks of determination, they gain persistence for 4 turns, which cannot be cancelled or nullified. Okay, how do you get rid of the stacks of determination? So determination is plus 30% power and plus 35% critical hit rate. For each stack, character cannot fall below 1% health. Functions as a last stand, disappears after preventing death. Okay, so that's how it disappears. Auto skill 2, unyielding. Character gains a bonus stack of determination for each class 1A ally at the beginning of the battle. Character has plus 20% critical hit impact for every class 1A ally as well. Ooh, so essentially you can choose how many last stands to give this character. That's kind of crazy. That's actually a really cool concept. Devs, take notes. That's so cool. Okay, and the new UR memory from Duckage, the Pinnacle of Strength, increases critical hit, impact, and speed by 40% when equipped by a destruction type character, gives character a stack of determination. When character has persistence, they gain unmatched. What does unmatched do on the final turn of persistence? Gain plus 100% plus ultra, which would be really good on this character. Yep, absolutely insane. And we didn't get an SR memory, but that's fine. Absolutely insane character and memory. I really like that one. That's what Overdrive Deku should have been in the game, but unfortunately, he was not. Next up, we have Kaito, the Stress Giver, with the long-awaited Christmas is Here. The featured character in memory is going to be a Christmas time Shoto Todoroki and Katsuki Bakugo, and we actually have an SR character. It's been so long, I almost forgot at the beginning of the game SR characters were on banners. They haven't done that in a hot minute. Christmas time, Tenya Ida and Izuku Midoriya, and then a UR memory, a relaxing Christmas, and then the SR memory, one way to acknowledge others. Interesting. Okay, we got a lot to read for this one, I got a feeling. So Christmas time, Shoto Todoroki and Katsuki Bakugo, a dual unit plus ultra is called Blizzard Storm Jet Impact, where they work together. That's sick. Deals 350% damage to all opponents with a high chance 80% of blocking their buffs for 3 turns, and deals another 350% damage to a single opponent. Gives them 25 frost one time, I assume one opponent. Gives character a barrier that nullifies status elements and damage only for 3 hits. Increases characters, does that include multi-hits? That's a real question. Increases character's critical hit rate by 30% for 3 turns. Gives character the ability to restore 30% of their damage taken for 3 turns as well. Very solid plus ultra. Okay, so it looks like they're dual units that can be switched in and out from what I'm seeing. Oh boy, this is... How long did you make this? This is... Ooh, this is, man, I love the creativity. That's just so much to read. You guys like to make me read. All right, Shoto Todoroki, action skill 1, Frozen Gifts, Freezing Party, deals 350% damage to a single opponent with a high chance 80% of freezing them. Gives character a barrier that nullifies status elements damage only for 1 hit. Once again, is it multi-hit or is it like, I gotta know. Gives the opponent 15 frost for 1 time, decreases the opponent's max HP by 30% for 3 turns, decreases the opponent's speed by 40% for 3 turns. Really good debuffs. A 5-turn cooldown to kind of balance it out. Looks good. Action skill 2, time to heat up the party. Increases character's action skill impact by 35% for 3 turns. Gives character a barrier that nullifies status element damage only for 1 hit. Increases character's plus ultra gauge by 40%. Shortens character's action skill cooldown time by 1, which is needed because you have a 6 and a 5-turn cooldown. Completely fair. Katsuki Bakugo, on the other hand, as the other part of this unit, action skill 1, exploding gifts just for you. Deals 350% damage to a single opponent with a medium chance 50% of blocking their recovery for 2 turns. Reduces character's damage taken by 30% for 3 turns, decreases the opponent's defense by 30% for 3 turns. When used in a successfully executed skill chain, decreases the opponent's max HP by 25% for 4 turns with a 5-turn cooldown. Action skill 2, Crash Burst, it deals 325% damage to all opponents, restores 25% of character's damage taken for 2 turns. So an AoE and healing and a 3-turn cooldown, pretty decent. I think your cooldowns, I think for Bakugo, maybe a 4-turn cooldown would be okay right there. Auto skill 1, the Angry and Dense Friends, gives character the ability to search permanently, hopefully, because like, you know, the one experience I've had with search in the game, absolute booty cheeks. When character's HP falls below 50%, he swaps to the currently equipped character with another character. Okay, so Katsuki being a swap to Todoroki, so Bakugo swaps to Todoroki, you start with Bakugo, and regenerate previous character's HP by 5% for every turn. When the equipped character is Shoto Todoroki, increases character's skill impact by 30%. When the equipped character is Katsuki Bakugo, increases character's max HP by 30%. For every 3 turns, gives all opponents 15 frost one time. Interesting. Auto skill 2, we will be the final man standing. Increases characters' burn, frostbite, and frozen resistance. You could also add like blind resist as well for Bakugo. When character has a barrier, increases character's critical hit rate by 60% for 2 turns. When the opponent nullifies 2 status elements, increases character's speed by 5%. For every 3 turns, decreases all opponents' max HP by 25% for 2 turns. That's crazy. Increases character's action skill impact by 5% for every turn the opponent is affected by frost. I think that's a bit overpowered. But then, of course, the art. Love the art. Everybody's picking really good art today. This is great. The SR, Christmas time, Tenya Ida, and Izuku Midoriya. I assume, yeah, it looks like another switch out unit. It's crazy to think that you would even entertain the idea that they're going to make an SR character have a switch out. They're not going to. Devs would never do this. Like, literally never. I love the idea. But devs would not put that much investment into an SR character. If they did, I would be genuinely surprised. The plus ultra move is called Full Engine Delivering Gifts Smash. Deals 400% damage to a single opponent with a high chance 80% of blocking the recovery for 3 turns. Increases character's action skill impact by 20% for 3 turns. Regenerates character's HP by 20% for 3 turns. Made character ecstatic for 3 turns. Shortens character's action skill cooldown time by 2. Is this meant to be an SR character? Nah, you broke this. You just made 2 UR characters. Absolutely insane. Tenya Ida, action skill 1, Recipro Burst, deals 250% damage to a single opponent with a medium chance of stunning the opponent for 2 turns, which becomes a high chance when you land a crit. Yeah, broken. Increases character speed by 20% for 2 turns. Gives character the ability to nullify 2 status elements when using a successfully executed skill chain. Increases character's power by 25% for 2 turns and 4 turn cooldowns. This almost looks better than the previous character. Action skill 2, Full Engine Gift Shot, deals 300% damage to a single opponent. Makes character ecstatic for 2 turns. Increases plus ultra gauge by 25%, increases character speed by 20% for 2 turns. When used in a successfully executed skill chain, increases character skill impact by 25% for 2 turns. I think you cooked a little bit too hard on your SR character. This looks more like a UR. Izuku Midoriya, on the other hand, as the other switch out character, action skill 1, Surprise Gift Smash, deals 300% damage to a single opponent with a medium chance of stunning them once again. Makes character ecstatic for 2 turns, increases character's critical hit rate by 20% for 2 turns, and gives character the ability to make a last stand 2 times. Yeah, looking insane. 4 turn cooldown. Action skill 2, Detroit Smash, deals 250% damage to a single opponent. Regenerates 15% of HP for 2 turns, which is nuts. Increases speed by 20% for 2 turns. When used in a successfully executed skill chain, increases plus ultra gauge by 25%. You have cooked way too hard for an SR character, my boy. Auto skill 1, Merry Christmas, everyone. Every time character uses characters plus ultra, swaps the currently equipped character, love that idea, with another character and regenerates previous character's HP by 5%. When the equipped character is Tenya Ida, gives character the ability to evade 2 times for every turn. What? Yo, this is broken. When the equipped character is Izuku Midoriya, increases character's critical hit rate by 25%. For every 3 turns, gives character the ability to nullify 1 status element. This is a UR character. Why did you try to pass this off as a UR? You just wanted to showcase 2 UR characters, didn't you? You just snuck this one in here saying it was an SR. The Speedster Duo increases character speed by 30%. For every turn, increases character speed by 5% up to 70%. Yeah, that's broken. Every time character initiates a critical hit, increase character's defense by 5% up to 70%. Oh, we're also going to give defense in addition to all the evasion and everything else and the critical hit rate and the speed. Yeah, sure, why not? Every time character didn't initiate a critical hit, increases character skill impact by 5% up to 70%. Sure, why not? Let's add critical skill impact in there as well. Love the art. Absolutely insane. That was not an SR character. That was UR quality. And then the new UR memory, A Relaxing Christmas, increases character's critical hit rate by 30%. When equipped by a class 1A character, increases character stats by 30%. When equipped by Shoto Todoroki, increases character status element hit rate by 30%. When equipped by Katsuki Bakugo, increases character's power by 30%. Oh, it works for the other character as well. When equipped by Tenya Ida, increases character speed by 30%. Yeah, that's what he needs. When equipped by Izuku Midoriya, increases character's critical resist by 30%. For every 3 turns, increases character's plus ultra gauge by 30%. That's a really, really broken memory as well. You designed a very broken SR character and a very broken UR memory so far. Is the SR one going to be broken too? Let's find out. One way to acknowledge others for every 3 turns. Gives character the ability to nullify 2 status elements. Every time character is ecstatic, increases character stats by 25% for 2 turns. Every time character initiates a critical hit, increases power by 5% up to 70%. Yeah, it's broken. Every time the opponent initiates a critical hit, increases character's max HP by 5% up to 70%. Increases bullseye if the opponent has gives character bullseye if the opponent has tranquility search or sharp eye. Yep, broken. That's not an SR memory once again. That's still broken. Oh my gosh, absolutely insane. So once again, we have to scroll ways up to see this. That was Kaido with basically a bunch of URs on one banner. I don't know if we could call any of those SRs. That was actually freaking an insane amount of kit right there to read through. It was really cool though. All right, next up we have Lili, a casual day off from the leader of the Shie Heis. Oh man, I can never say it. I know what it is, I can't say it. Shie Heisekai. I think I said that somewhat right, potentially. Okay, featured characters, casual approach, Kai Chisaki. Featured memories, battle of beliefs, and loud mouth. So starting off with the character, plus ultra, high diving. Actually, I want to see the character. Okay, there's the character art, just so you can see it. That's what we're basing this kit on. Plus ultra, high diving, deals 700% damage to a single opponent with a high chance 70% of bounding them for 3 turns. 3 turns is insane. And causing deep wounds. Ooh, what's deep wounds gonna do? Steals all temporary buffs of a single opponent with a medium chance of stealing 7 temporary buffs from all opponents? That's nuts. This cannot be cancelled or blocked. If character is hiding, increases this skill impact by 40%, and it gains piercing shot for 4 turns. Oh, okay, that's insane. You made a broken character. Skill 1, terrain disassembly. Deals 370% damage to all opponents, cancels all of their temporary status element nullification effects, and hides character for 3 turns. That's so broken. Decreases their speed by 30% for 3 turns, with high chance 70% of causing the opponent to bleed for 4 turns. If character is hiding, increases this skill impact by 25%, and decreases all opponents' power by 30% for 3 turns. This skill gains bullseye with 2 4-turn cooldowns. Yeah, you made a very, we need, to be honest, we need an overhaul of this good in the game. We have yet to get a good overhaul, so that would be nice to see in the future. Skill 2, Forced Disassembly, deals 400% damage to a single opponent with a medium chance 50% of causing meat lump for 2 turns. If character is hiding, gives character the ability to repeat the move 1 more time and increase the chance of causing meat lump, and decreases all opponents' defense by 25%. Interesting. Another character with Meat Lump. Meat Lump is one of the best status elements in the game just because there's not much counter to it. So it would be really, really actually good for Overhaul to have, and it kind of makes sense. Auto skill 1, hard to notice, hides character for 3 turns. Every 4 turns, okay. When character is hiding, increases character speed by 60% and increases all allies plus ultra gauge by 40% every turn, and blocks evasion, barrier, sharp eye, and agile from opponents. Oh, yo, if we actually had a character with that, that'd be nuts. You cooked too hard with this again. When character is above 90% HP, increases chance of all ally status elements to activate, so by 15%. So your status elements have an extra 15% chance to land on the enemy. That's crazy. Auto skill 2, Wake Up and Walk, increases skill impact by 40% of all villains and their speed by 30%. Once per battle, gives the ability to regenerate HP by 100% for 1 turn when HP is below 30%, and gives the ability to evade for 1 turn at the start of the wave. Makes all allies immune to stun and paralysis for 3 turns, and increases their resistance after 3 turns. Yeah, he seems broken. Really, really good. Ooh. Is this I feel like this is an art that I don't know. No, this is something someone actually made. This is cool though. I love that art. So it's called Battle of Beliefs. If equipped by a hero, increases character speed by 50% and increases all allies' action skill impact by 15% when performing a skill. Stackable. You can stack speed by 50% each turn. That's crazy. If character initiates 4 critical hits, increases all opponents' cooldowns by 1 and increases all allies plus ultra impact by 30%. If equipped by a villain, decreases all opponents' speed by 50% and decreases all opponents' action skill impact by 15% when performing a skill, which is stackable. If character initiates 2 critical hits, decreases all allies cooldown by 1 and decreases all opponents plus ultra impact by 20%. This memory would be really broken because you just run a hero and a villain on the same team, and now you're giving yourself a speed boost and them a speed decrease if you run 2 different copies of this memory, and you break the game. So that's a really OP memory that, like, looking at it at first, you wouldn't realize how broken it is. And then the new SR memory, Loudmouth. When an ally has aggro or cover, increases character skill impact by 40% and decreases all opponents' action skill impact by 25%. When used in a successfully executed skill chain, increases all allies' critical hit rate by 25%. And now we get to learn what Deep Wound was from the Plus Ultra. Take the amount of bleeding damage character would have taken and remaining turns and affect all at once. So kind of similar to like how Hellfire works, but for bleed. We've been waiting for this for a long time. Hopefully they eventually add something like that to the game to make bleed a little bit more effective. I actually really do like the kit, so that was very cool to see. Once again, that was Lily with the Overhaul kit. On to the next one, we have Hiroki Suzuki. I apologize if I'm saying the name wrong. Okay, so the UR is Midnight's Calling Hiroki Suzuki. Plus Ultra move. Cast Shadow Beast. Deal 600% damage to a single opponent. Increases character's power and action skill impact by 30% for 4 turns, gives character the ability to overwhelm for 3 turns, gives character the ability to penetrate as well. That just seems like a lot of damage. Also shortens character's action skill cooldown. Oh, not just characters, also shortens action skill cooldown time of all allies by 2. That's broken. That right there makes the character good. Medium chance of stunning the opponent for 2 turns. Action skill 1 Nail Biter increases character's power and critical hit rate by 25% for 5 turns, increases character skill impact by 30% for 3 turns if used in a second or later successfully executed skill chain. If character's HP is above 50%, gives the ability to penetrate for 2 turns with a cooldown time of 5. Action skill 2 Paw Stomp deals 400% damage to a single opponent, gives character the ability to use 2 normal attacks for 2 turns if used in a successfully executed skill chain. Increases character speed by 20% for 3 turns. This skill gains Bullseye with a cooldown time of 4. Auto skill 1 Treats for Us increases all allies plus ultra gauge by 20% when used in a successfully executed skill chain. Increases all allies max HP by 25% for 2 turns when used in a successfully executed skill chain. I love all the technical hits that we're getting here. That's amazing. And then when character has the ability to penetrate, which is like always according to the action skills, increases all allies plus ultra skill impact by 30% and regenerates HP by 20% for 3 turns for allies as well. So a really good support while doing decent damage. I like it. Auto skill 2 Easygoing. Character gains the ability to evade 2 times every 3 turns. When character's HP is below 50%, character gains the ability to hide for 2 turns. When character has the ability to overwhelm, reduces damage to character by 30% and gives them last stand 2 times. So it's like as you do more damage and help your character do more damage, you're also benefiting yourself by giving yourself more defense and survivability with last stands, and you're also benefiting allies by doing those extra things because you're going to be generating their plus ultra skill impact and regenerating their HP. So actually a really interesting concept with the character. I like it. The new UR memory is called Regret and Sorrow. Decreases all status element damage to character by 20%. After 2 turns pass, character becomes immune to buff block and recovery block for 2 turns, up to 2 times. When character has the ability to use 2 normal attacks, character restores damage taken by 30% for 3 turns and gains Bullseye for 2 turns. Pretty decent. And then the art, once again, you guys are picking some really nice art. And then we have the SR Memory Birthday Surprise. Restores character's HP by 10% for 3 turns, up to 5 times. Increases character's max HP by 30% when used in a successfully executed skill chain, because that's what we need is more technical hits. Increases character's plus ultra gauge by 25% and makes character ecstatic. This would be really good in VE Tower. Like honestly, a somewhat useful SR memory is amazing. Love it. Love seeing useful SR memories because nowadays we get so many SR memories and a lot of them are not the greatest. Okay. Ooh. Okay. I'm super excited for this one. Is this our last one? I think we have. This might be our last one. No. We got 2 more. Okay. I can't wait to go over this one though. This one's going to be really, really sick. Okay, so we have, I believe this is Ace with steam-powered steampunk, oh my gosh, that's a mouthful. Steam-powered steampunk step up recruit.
Kirishima. Oh my gosh, that was so hard to say. Steampunk Kirishima. I'm waiting for this one. So there's the art for it, of course. So the plus ultra move, Steam Hardening, deals 500% damage to a single opponent, increases character's critical hit rate by 100% for a defense character. Interesting, for 3 turns, if character has the ability to cover allies. Gives character the ability to penetrate as well. So not only is he going to cover allies, he's going to have big damage. Gives character the ability to counter for 5 turns as well. Yeah, 5-turn counter, absolutely insane. Action skill 1, Ironclad Strike, deals 400% damage to a single opponent, reduces damage taken by all allies by 35%. Love giving that to allies, so it actually makes up for the AoEs that are in the game. Reduces the character's cooldown time by 1 for 3 turns if used in a successfully executed skill chain. So that means that will give you 3-turn cooldowns. That's actually really broken. Action skill 2, Steady Blow, deals 400% damage to a single opponent, reduces the critical hit rate of all opponents by 35% for 3 turns, effect cannot be nullified or cancelled, and gives character the ability to cover for 2 turns as well. So he can cover here on this skill and then cover with the plus ultra. Love that. Auto skill 1, Iron Will, when character receives 1 critical attack, increases power of all allies by 5%, which stacks up to 50%. When character receives 1 non-critical attack, increases self-only skill impact by 5% for 10 turns. So either way, you're getting a bonus from him getting hit. And then when character has the ability to counter, gives character resilience. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So the higher his HP, the more damage he does, if I remember what resilience does correctly. Auto skill 2, Full Steam Ahead, gives character the ability to overwhelm. In addition, he's just a defense character with a ton of damage. Okay, crazy. When character has the ability to cover, gives character Last Stand. When character has the ability to cover, makes character immune to status elements. So basically, he can't die as long as he's covering, and he gets a 5-turn cover from his plus ultra, so he'll just never die. It might be a little bit broken. You might need to nerf that a little bit if I'm reading that correctly, because the way it reads is basically whenever he has a Last Stand, he can't be killed. You would have to have almost a character on the opponent team that can cancel the counter ability, which then makes it like okay, or can like stun lock him, bind him to where he just can never get his counter up. I guess you can kind of get around it. It's maybe not as broken as I'm thinking it is, but it is kind of crazy. The new UR memory, Forged Alliance, restores character's HP by 30% of damage dealt. If the character has reduced cooldowns, increases the power of all allies by 30% and skill impact of all allies by 30%, increases the action skill impact of all allies by 10% for 3 turns when used in a successfully executed skill chain. And once again, you have created the perfect memory for this character because it gives also HP restoration. It gives you the increase in power for allies and increased action skill impact. So it's like giving your defense character some healing, but then also giving the boost to allies as well, like for damage, which is what he's been doing the whole time. So really, really good. Looks very interesting. Love the art. Of course, that's from Deviant Art. And then the new SR memory, Time Off at the Station, increases character's max HP by 10% every turn, up to 3 times, increases this character's defense by 5% for 3 turns when used in a second or later successfully executed skill chain. And there is the art for that one. I like it. I like the steampunk banner. It might happen someday too. It might be the global anniversary that we see there. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. And then next up, we have Mr. Zombie with Class A versus Class B School Festival poll. So it's a story. Interesting. We got a story with it. One of the only people to do this. This event features an original 3-part story following the canon events of the UA High School Festival. Nieto Monoma, I might be saying his first name wrong, of Class 1B is determined to know if the school play his class put together was better favored by the rest of UA High than the music concert Class 1A put together. He hatches a plan to go around the school and ask the other students of the support course in general studies whether Class A or B's events were the best. To help with this plan, he enlists the help of Ibara Shiozaki to help him gather votes. Kendo is weary of Monoma's antics and asks Tetsu to tag along with Monoma and keep him in line during his data collecting. Will the results of his poll give Monoma the result he desires and give his class the one-up he's been looking for against his rival hero class? So the UR character, Crown of Thorns, Ibara Shiozaki. I think that's the only... Okay, yeah, that's the main character for this one. Interesting. Do we have an Ibara? We don't have an Ibara in the game, huh? Yeah, we're still waiting on that. Plus ultra move, Judgment.
deals 500% damage to a single opponent, high chance 70% of binding the opponent for two turns. It seems like Ibura would have been added to the game. She's such an easy like add with the things she does. If the opponent has speed down of 30% or greater, this attack becomes a bullseye. If the opponent has speed down of 60% or greater, this skill gains a higher chance, 90% of binding the opponent. That's actually broken. And the bind debuff cannot be nullified. Yeah, for 2 turns, that's broken. Just run speed down characters and you have a broken character here. If the character has the ability to search for the enemy, this skill gains piercing shot and blocks the opponent's recovery. You're cooking too hard. You're cooking too hard. Action skill 1, Via Dolorosa. Deals 300% damage to a single opponent and 200% damage to all other opponents. Reduces all opponents' speed by 15%. If character has the ability to search for the enemy, this skill gains a medium 50% chance of binding any opponents that are hiding for 2 turns. This debuff cannot be nullified or removed. Action skill 2, Face Shield, a 5-turn cooldown. Restores HP of all allies by 30%. Increases their defense by 25% and gives character a barrier that nullifies 2 hits and gives all other allies a barrier that nullifies 1 hit. You're cooking too hard. 5-turn cooldowns, so it kind of balances it out a little bit, unless we have cooldown reduction, which then, once again, still broken. Auto skill 1, Divine Protection. When character receives an attack that targets all allies, gives all allies 20% damage reduction for 3 turns, and reduces speed of all opponents by 15% for 3 turns. If character receives an attack from an opponent with speed down of 40% or greater, medium chance of binding the opponent for 2 turns. Does that mean they just, like, it's a counter bind? That's so, okay, yep. If character receives an attack from an opponent with speed down of 70% or greater, high chance 75% of binding the opponent for 2 turns. Debuff cannot be nullified or canceled. That's crazy. If character receives an attack while having a barrier, medium chance to inflict bleeding on the opponent for 3 turns as well. Yo, you cooking. Auto skill 2, Heavenly Blessings. Gives character the ability to search for the enemy if character's health is at 50% or greater. Gives character paralysis immunity if character has the ability to search for the enemy. When character's health reaches 50%, gives character a barrier that nullifies 2 hits up to 1 time, and gives all other allies a barrier as well that will nullify 1 hit up to 1 time. If character has a barrier at the start of a turn, restores HP of all allies by 15% and increases plus ultra gauge of all allies by 10%. And I think that should say for like 2 to 3 turns. That would make it a little bit better, but really, really good character. I'm still waiting for her to come to the game. I really want her to come to the game. Then we have the new memory, Fruits of Your Labor. If a character receives an attack from an opponent with speed down, increases character's critical hit chance by 5% up to a maximum of 50%. Ooh, that could be really good. If character receives an attack while having damage down, increases character's power by 5% up to a maximum of 50%. And then greatly increases character's recovery block resistance as well. And then there is the art for that one. And then the new SR memory, Weekend with the Girls, increases character's max HP by 20%, gives character tranquility for the first 2 turns of battle, meaning they can't be hit by crits, you also can't land crits, and restores character's HP by 15% up to 4 times for every 4 non-critical hit attacks they receive. So they'll be regenerating HP for the beginning of battle. That is definitely an SR memory, because I don't see that being that useful at the beginning of a battle, but once again, love the art, and that concludes the banners for the Create Your Own My Hero Ultra Impact banner video. Let me know once again down in the comments whose banner was the best. And if you guys enjoyed the video, please consider going down there, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for watching and supporting the channel. Peace.